One question that has come up recently as we were talking about the Mark 1 and Mark 2 71 millimeter turbine wheels and the introduction of the Mark 2 is whether or not the turbine housings that a client has are interchangeable from the Mark 1 and the Mark 2. So, for example, the scenario would be that someone has a Mark 1 71 millimeter turbine wheel from, say, a Predator, and it has been damaged and therefore needs not only a replacement turbine wheel, but possibly a replacement cartridge due to the amount of damage done. And then a new center section with turbine wheel is going to be sent with them and with a Mark II. Do they have to now purchase a new turbine housing? And the answer is no. And here's an example of why that is the case. So to the left over here, we have a Mark 1 turbine wheel on the Predator over here that we have on this one that was specially coated. And on this one here, we have a Mark II 71 mil turbine wheel that looks with a new efficient profile that is using a T31 housing that had a custom weld V-band on it from another facility. So the question that comes in is, can you interchangeably change these? The answer is yes, and here's how we're going to show you that. So, for example, all the bolts have been removed, and so I simply just remove this one here, okay? And I'm able to remove this here, okay? So, as you can see, there's a remarkable difference in terms of the actual height between the heat shield and the turbine exducer length on the Mark 1 versus the Mark 2, which is a substantially taller profile on the turbine shaft using the same journal bearing hat. So one would think, okay, is there going to be a big difference in terms of fitment? What you'll find is that they do fit. They are interchangeable. I'll show you right here. You can now put this still on your Mark 1. Still free-wheeling, no clearance issues of any kind, as you can see here. And this one goes on the Mark II. Okay, still freewheeling, no kind of issues or clearance or anything like that. The difference is going to be, however, that the Mark II's turbine wheel, in terms of its hub, nut, and profile, are going to be a little bit closer to the flange than, say, the Mark I, because of the fact that this wheel is actually a little bit taller. So I'll show you again that once you can interchange, they fit securely on the heat shield and to the cartridge on the journal bearing. Okay. So you'll notice once again, this is going to sit a little bit taller on the inside on this one than on this one. The only reason why you don't really see it here is because the V-band has extended this by about an inch or so, and therefore you're not going to see the turbine wheel at that. So hopefully that answers that question. Can you interchange the turbine wheels between the Mark 1 71 millimeter and the Mark II? The answer is yes.